So here at Shuttleworth, we've got quite a lot of vintage vehicles. And Steve, what are we looking at here exactly?
So this is the collection's Railton. The car originally was bought as a burst chassis and engine. So it's a terraplane chassis with a 6-cylinder Hudson engine in it, and was used to carry bales of hay and things around the farm. At some later point, it was decided to take the car, send it away, and have this body put on it. I thought it was done in Germany, but I'm not sure about that. And the car does have a look of the early Benzes about it. But as you can see, it's a big old long car, 2-seater sports car with a 3-speed gearbox, and frankly, I think it's overpowered for the size of the chassis. That's another story.
Have a quick look inside. Okay, any other cars you'd like to show us?
Yes, let's go and look at the Arrol Johnson. So this odd looking car is a 6-seater dog cart from 1901, made in Scotland, which is where Arrol Johnson was originally located. The car, if you believe, this particular model of car, the dog cart, was the first mass-produced car in the UK, believe it or not. It consisted of 2 seats at the front, the driver and the passenger sat in the middle, and then there are some seats on the back above the engine. Open up the back, and you could let this down and have a footrest for your passengers. The car has an unusual engine. It's a four-piston 2-cylinder engine, and the pistons are operating in opposition, and then there's a connection of levers and rods which actually turn the crankshaft to create the turning motion. It's got a 4-speed gearbox, and it's chain driven. So there's a big chain underneath to engage the gearbox to the rest of the car. This particular car was bought by Richard Shuttleworth in the 30s, and there's a legendary story about Richard going to Scotland and spending 35 hours driving this car back to Shuttleworth. I can testify that it doesn't go very fast. This was the first car that I ever did London to Brighton in. The top speed, which we measured using our phones, given that there's no instruments on it, is around about 20 miles an hour. And we did achieve 22 going downhill. And to do the 60 miles from London to Brighton took us almost 7.5 hours. So it's not the fastest car out of the slot, but it is an interesting car to drive.
Thank you, Steve.
My pleasure.